Hey there, John here, out in the yard. And dandelion's a plant that I often say it's better to know 40 things about one plant than one thing about 40 plants. So let's take a look at dandelion, which is a plant that you can easily learn 40 things about. Just a couple identification things I thought I'd point out here real quick. In the spring, you're going to see dandelion coming up on one stalk. Okay, and there's a flower. And if we look at the leaves, we see they have a smoothness to them, okay? Now you're also going to see plants out in the yard like this one that look like dandelion. Pick that. And that looks like a dandelion leaf, doesn't it? But when we look closer, it's got little tiny hairs on them. Okay, now this will also get a stalk and a flower that looks like dandelion that'll come later in the summer. But it is cat's ear, and there are other varieties with other common names that kind of like this as well. But they'll even have flowers that will branch off the stem as well, and it has a wiry type of stem. I can't see any of them now because they're not even flowered yet, but in July this lawn will look like it's covered in dandelion, but it'll actually be covered in cat's ear. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out, that was important in your identification. It's great to come on out any day, especially in the spring and fall, and eat a leaf. It'll really help you with digestion and being able to assimilate your food better. Good to have wild food, really nutritious too. So let's start with a little story about dandelion. So a golden-haired maiden fell in love with the sun, and she rejected all suitors and just watched the sun make his journey across the sky. But the sun ignored her. The sun was ignored. Yeah, basically the sun ignored her, right? And she grieved and got old and frail and gray and was just blown away by the wind. Just like the seeds that we see around, she's blown away by the wind. And then the sun noticed her, but it was too late to bring her back. But then the Great Spirit took pity and sent small golden flowers to bloom on the prairie, to remind the sun of the maiden. And to this day, the wind carries away her gray-haired seeds. Sometimes these stories can help us remember things about plants. So dandelion is a survivor, and it reaches deep into the earth. Let's go over here and where we see even some more. And there's that that gray-haired maiden. And reaches deep into the earth, is impervious to animals and fire. Just some cool facts I thought I'd share with you, because we read things about like, oh, leaves are high in vitamin A, and the roots are nourishing for the liver, and we hear all these great medicinal things, but some things that people don't often talk about are what a survivor dandelion is. Now, over here in this lawn, they're short. That's because I mowed, right? I mowed all around here, so they're growing short, and the leaves are short. And it wants to grow up and flower really quickly. And its leaves, it grows leaves, basal leaves, and its base to shield out other plants so they don't grow around it. Okay, and if the grass is high, or if the plants are high around it, it grows high. And if it's short, it grows short. And it will go to seed as quickly as it can. And every single one of these petals is actually a flower. That's why it can produce this many seeds, and they blow away on the wind. So it's the ultimate survivor. It can withstand 20,000 volts of electricity. It can grow up, some varieties grow up to 18,000 feet. Okay, any little piece of root will make a new plant. It is quite advanced. People just see this as this common nuisance, but when you think about it botanically, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? It grows in the cracks of the sidewalk. Okay. So it has really adjusted well to its environment. So it's known in many places as a diuretic, especially the leaves. What's great about it as a diuretic is that It also replaces the potassium that you get rid of when you pee, when you take this diuretic. If you need a diuretic, the dandelion leaf is very good. So they say it might have come over in the Mayflower, maybe with the Vikings. It was an important food actually to Native Americans. Obviously it wasn't here before settlers came over, but that was long enough. It didn't take long for it to spread. It was in our national formulary until the 60s, still in the pharmacopoeia of many countries. It was a very important food in World War I, World War II for soldiers. In China it goes back to at least the 7th century in the Tang Dynasty. The Japanese have cultivated 200 different varieties of flowers. The Chinese used to treat liver, which governs the blood circulation and important in maintaining smooth qi flow. And that's let's see. And liver, the liver is associated with anger in Chinese medicine, and so nourishing your liver with dandelion can also really help with anger and even depression or stored negative emotions. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So it's really a self-contained pharmacy and one of the most widely used plants in the world. And like it will grow worldwide except in the deserts and tropics. And where it grows, soil is healthy and it indicates potassium, magnesium, calcium, and sodium, right? Because that's what's in the plant. So it must be getting it from somewhere. Let's see. And it also has a deep taproot so it doesn't compete with the grasses. Okay. So like I said, it's like an herbal earthworm. It aerates the soil in providing drainage. Helps overworked soil by soaking nutrients that are washed downward and bringing towards the surface where short-rooted plants can use them, right? So it's helping the other plants. And when it dies, a channel forms in the roots and opens the earth up to other plants. So it's a compost activator. 85 insects are nourished by dandelion, including